Don't pay attention to the cameras.
Don't look directly into the
Yeah,
camera.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. CM Punk, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Long time no
do
see.
you get to look into the cameras,
No.
or just not me?
It's
nobody.
forget
So
that
we're just
anyone's
pretending.
here.
We're just
Yes.
pretending like me and you are having some tea.
Yes.
I
Sans tea, but your lovely dog is here.
I would really like some tea right now.
It's great to see you again. This has become a tradition for us.
It's weird. Yeah.
All week long, everyone's been asking me one question. They haven't been asking me about TJ Dillashaw, Renan Barão, or Misha Tate Sky. Will you be visiting CM Punk? We did it in 2012.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. We were actually standing right here, and that was our first interview.
10 long years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
You talked about your love of MMA. You were just a WWE champion who liked this sport. And then we met up in 2013. We were sitting over there.
Mm.
It was 48 hours before your big match at Royal Rumble against The Rock.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
Right.
Prior to UFC on Fox number 6. And then prior to UFC on Fox number 10 in 2014, we were standing right over there in that corner in what turned out to be your final interview before quitting.
Yeah.
This was a huge deal for me personally, because
Uh-huh.
I had no idea what was to come.
Right.
Did you know what was coming?
No, I don't think you could have predicted any of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember asking you at the end of that interview, you probably don't remember, are you happy? Do you remember me asking you that?
Yeah, a little bit.
I said, are you happy? And you said, yeah, I'm happy. And I didn't really believe you.
Yeah, I didn't believe me either.
And so I'll ask you now, after all this time, a year and a half later, are you happy?
I'm not happy. I'm like elated. I'm ecstatic.
So much has changed.
I'm way more than happy. Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, the big thing is you're a UFC fighter now,
Yeah.
which is a bit surreal for me coming back here after 3 trips, because we were always just talking about you being a fan. You couldn't even go to the shows when they were here.
I wasn't allowed to.
You weren't allowed, scheduling conflicts, and now you're an actual UFC fighter. They
Yeah.
announced this in December, and now we've been, here 7 months later. We've heard some updates, we've seen you, you've popped up here and there at events. 7 months into it, is it going as planned? Are you where you want to be when you announced this back in December?
It's weird answer is I don't know if I'm ever where I want to be. You know what I mean? Like I always do things to the best of my ability. So I certainly am not shocked by where I'm at. I'm not upset about where I'm at. I learn every day, and I'm happy where I'm at. But I want to be better than I am. You know, and I think that's what most successful people probably feel. I think when George St. Pierre was on top of the world, I think he always strived to be better than he was, and that's the key for me is going in, training my ass off, which I'd imagine I'm probably going to say like a dozen times throughout this interview, and just learning something every day and getting better.
When they announced this on that pay-per-view on December 6th, UFC 181, it was a weird rollout in the sense that you were announcing this, you were announcing your intention to fight, being a member of the UFC. However, you didn't have answers to most of the questions people were asking you. Where you're going to train, who you're going to train with, when you're going to debut. Yeah. Little things like what your walkout song was going to be, all this stuff. You didn't have answers to any. In hindsight, are you happy with the way it happened, or would you have preferred have this year of training, do your thing, and then announce that you were signing?
I don't really live my life, and I think back, I wish we would have done something different. That's what they wanted to do. And I'm a pretty easy guy to work with. I was just like, okay, if that's what you want to do. If it was up to me back then, I probably would have been like, well, how about we just train, and then once we make the announcement, and then we can say, oh, he's fighting in 3 months.
Right.
You know, something like that. But they wanted to get it out there like ASAP. So we did it. You know, I was just like along for the ride. It was fun.
And then you received, it was obviously a polarizing announcement, right?
Yeah.
You received some criticism. You received a lot of, positive feedback. People left and right were inviting you to join their team. And of course, some fighters were saying, this is a crock and all that stuff. Has it calmed down since, or do you still hear that? Not so much from fans, because you're always going to hear mixed, messages from them, but from your peers now. Do you feel like you are being invited in, that you're being welcomed, that a lot of people aren't looking down on you?
Yes and no. I mean, it still pops up every once and again. But anybody who doesn't like what I'm doing, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing except me. So, I mean, a lot of people are cool, and I remember, famously Ben Askren was like probably one of the biggest outspoken people, and he might be one of the closest guys I'm close to at the gym.
Right.
So it's funny how things change.
of course, you're at Rufus Sport now.
Yes.
You're in Milwaukee. You didn't really announce it. You allowed me to announce it that you've moved to Milwaukee, or at least rented a place in Milwaukee to be closer to training. How's that going? How did you come to that decision that, okay, I want to be closer, I want to, because you're a Chicago guy and you're very proud to be a Chicago guy. How did you come to that decision, and are you living there full time now? Where do you stand?
Yeah, this weekend is actually the first time we've been home. Yes, Larry, I know. I'll get to that. This is the first time we've been home since we moved up there. And the idea originally was, well, we'll come back on the weekends, but we've thankfully, my wife April has fallen in love with Milwaukee, so that helps out tremendously. I wouldn't have been able to move out there without her supporting me 100%, which is cool. To me, it was a necessary thing because driving and just training once a day wasn't going to cut it. So to get to the level where I needed to be to absorb more information, because there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I did the first 6 months driving every day. Blackhawks won the cup. There's no more hockey. Time to move to Milwaukee. And it just worked out that way. And now I'm training 2-3 times a day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Wow.
And not 7 days a week.
Okay.
I definitely think most people, including myself, tend to overtrain.
Okay.
But I'm a different animal. There's a huge learning curve for me. So, every day I get to spend in the gym, the varying degrees of strenuous workouts. Sometimes it's not as hard. Sometimes it's super hard. But yeah, three times a day. I take the weekends off.
You ever have a moment where you were like, what the hell did I get myself into?
No.
Never doubted yourself?
No, we did, recently I think Duke likes to call them scrimmages.
Okay.
And essentially in my mind what they are is amateur fights. And what we did last time, because Duke thought my striking was developing more rapidly than everything else. He wanted to see strictly my striking. So I wound up fighting somebody and just stand up. So it was basically a kickboxing match.
Okay.
I got rocked pretty hard.
Did you get knocked out?
No.
Okay.
No.
Was that the first time you were rocked hard?
I mean, we were going, we were going for it. So,
okay.
And we are filming all this. A guy named Rory Kampf is taping all this. He's famous for doing a couple of really good 30-30s, most recently the
Yes.
Christian Leitner one, which you were in.
Very talented man.
I don't think a lot of people know that. I don't even know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but yeah, we're filming it. I think it's a pretty cool story to tell. So you're going to see, my first day in the gym, and it's going to progress all the way to fight week.
Wow.
Probably do one more episode or whatever after that. So, the cameras are filming it, and I didn't get knocked out. I would gladly offer up the information that I would have lost by a judge's decision,
okay.
but I hung in there, and it's like I said, every day, every week, everything gets compiled, and I learn, and now we take what I did wrong from that fight, and we apply it, and we relearn things or find out what I did wrong and do it right, and find more things to work on, and just kind of drill off of that.
So if those are amateur fights, any idea what your record would be right now, amateur-wise?
No, because I don't know. That one I would have lost. I don't know about the other ones.
But I'm sure you're winning some here and there, right?
Oh, I doubt it.
Doubt it. Is that frustrating?
I mean, yeah.
Ego-wise, right? You want to win anything you do.
It's not frustrating ego-wise.
Okay.
I'm fighting professional fighters.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? And I know I'm at that level where I'm fighting these professional fighters, and I'm the one. It's all just to gauge like where I'm at, where I need to be, what we need to work on, where I need to go. And I can't thank these guys enough. They don't have to come in on their day off, or you know what I mean, and work with me or fight me, train with me, whatever. So it's pretty cool, but nothing's like oh shit, what have I gotten myself
right.
into? You know what I mean? Like I get punched in the face. That's what I do now.
What's been the toughest part, though? The toughest part of mixed martial arts to adapt to? You had some history, obviously, with jiu-jitsu. So I'm guessing it's not that.
The toughest thing for me, and there's a couple guys in the gym that constantly remind me, I think I take it too easy on guys. Like when we're rolling or drilling or something like that, like it's almost like I'm still in pro wrestling mode. You know what I mean? So it almost takes me that stiff jab right in the nose to kind of wake me up.
Okay.
And go, oh, okay, yeah, thank you for thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so it's and that's like a weird thing, you know. But I remember talking to Brock, and he had that same problem. He told me like it was kind of weird for him because you're so conditioned to taking care of your opponent and doing things, and it's just like everything needs to be heavier. I need heavier hips, and you know that's something we're working on. Thank you.
How often do you and this is a new addition to the series as well, Larry.
Yeah. Famous Larry.
First it's the dog, then it's the baby.
Oh, really? Is that how it goes?
That's the way.
Is that what you did?
No, we skipped the dog part and went straight to.
Well, then how are you going to tell me that's the way it is?
Space is limited. In any event.
Quit showing the world your dick, Larry. Get out of here.
How often do you tell yourself, I wish I did this 5 years ago, before that contract?
I mean, that's probably the only
time you say.
Yeah, but it's still, even then, like, I regret is such a taboo word with me. I don't regret anything. Everything happens for a reason. But yeah, I do wish, I would have done this 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier.
Did you ever watch pro wrestling?
No. I watched my wife when she was on TV. She would tell me what segment I would tune in.
Right.
But no, there's like, I still got friends who work there. They come through. We go out to eat. We grab coffee, but I don't watch.
Was it a bit of a relief?
I didn't watch when I was there.
Right.
Like, people think I like cold turkey. Like, you know, I didn't watch when I was still there. I didn't watch my stuff. I just didn't watch.
Because you stopped being a fan. It was your job.
Yeah, very much.
Was it a relief when your wife left, so that you didn't have to watch anymore anything?
No, I mean, and that's like a relief. No, because I never minded watching her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm invested in her, so like I'm interested in what she does. But no, like, was it a relief when she left? No, I really think she was working somewhere. She was doing what she loved, and people were making it hard for her, you know, to work there. So it was a crappy situation, and they made it so it was no longer ideal, if that makes sense.
But once that happens, you can kind of wash your hands of that whole chapter of both your lives, right? You can really move on.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Yeah. When I would imagine when she was still in it, there was still a part of you that had to remain because that's your wife. You want to support her, but now you can officially kind of divorce yourself from that situation, which is great.
And, you know, see, it's funny. You do these interviews and people cherry pick, and they'll try to twist my words, and so they get the answers that they want. Like, she can go back tomorrow. I wouldn't care. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's her decision. Right.
Where do we stand right now?
What?
Where do we stand right now as far as your debut is concerned? Do you have any idea?
No, I really don't. I keep saying end of the year just because it'll have been a year, and I kind of want to get the first one in. You know what I mean? It'll be a year
2015.
Yeah, I would like to. My accountant wants me to wait until January.
Why is that?
Just so I don't have any big income coming in
We don't think about these things.
Yeah, I don't either. But she was like, "Oh, you can, delay it." And I was like, "Really? Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, okay." No, but to me, that's just like a personal goal. I say December, but it's really it's up to Duke, it's up to Ben, it's up to Daniel, it's up to Cushman. It's.
So who will make that final call?
Probably Duke.
Do they call you? Does the UFC call you and say where are we at? You know, how many more? Are they just waiting for you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's interesting. UFC 181 was December 6th, and they have a pay-per-view on December 5th.
Really?
So it'll be 364 days later. Is that the goal? Would that be the date?
I think it depends on, like I said, for me, there's like a weird internal clock. I would like that to happen.
Are you getting anxious?
Yes and no. Because it's you know, stepping into the octagon is not something I take lightly. I don't think anybody does. You know, so like I want to be as absolutely prepared as I possibly can be. I don't want to be like, oh man, I would be yeah, I don't really feel ready, but yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a difference between a fighter that has, 10 fights under their belt and years of experience fighting, taking a fight on short notice, and me taking a fight on short notice. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, fight already," but like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm taking my time and I'm doing it right.
Now that you're in this world, do you ever sit back and watch and be like, I could beat that guy? Have you watched fights at any point, UFC fights, and said to yourself, oh, give me this guy. I'm ready for this guy. This guy's...
You're really setting me up here, aren't you?
I'm just curious.
You son of a bitch. I think the whole purpose of me doing anything in my life is because I enjoy it. It's about the journey and not necessarily the destination. That being said, I think I spar, wrestle, roll with some of the best guys in MMA. And I think a lot of those guys in my gym, and I'm talking about the guys that nobody's heard of, could beat a lot of guys in the UFC. And until I can get the better of the guys in my gym, I'm not going to be that guy that's going to say, yeah, I can beat this guy and point fingers and call people out. Like, I got a target on my face already. So I'll let the fighters, I think one of my biggest assets going into my fight is going to be the complete unknown, big question mark. Well, what's he good at? What's he best at? What's he worst at? And I don't think I need to participate in the pointing of fingers and, I think MMA as a whole is something I can do and be successful at, but I don't think it's really my place at the moment to say, oh, I can beat this guy, I can beat this guy.
Do you believe your first opponent is currently in the UFC?
I hope so.
That's what you want?
Yeah. I know the train of thought is, oh, they're going to give you a tomato can, but think about this. It doesn't matter who they give me. If I lose, everyone's going to say I told you so. If I win, everyone's going to say that guy sucked. It doesn't matter who it is. People will make excuses to get the answers that will help them sleep at night. Whatever their narrative of all this is, they're gonna say whatever. So what can I do except train my ass off and be as prepared as I can be?
I get the impression this isn't a one-time thing. Like that was kind of, we didn't really know. This is definitely not a one-time thing, right?
I hope not. No, fuck no. I got a sweet deal.
Yeah.
Why would I want to just fight once? Yeah.
Do you know what weight it will be at?
I'm hoping 170.
Yeah, that's the plan.
I'm walking around like 190 right now, and I got a little bit of wiggle room. I'm not, I'll enjoy a pizza with the wife once a week, because why the fuck not? Why, as Cowboy Cerrone said to me the other day, why the fuck would you eat clean right now? And I think my training is so difficult that like I almost need that to kind of not only replenish my body physically, but like mentally. Like that's my break.
Right.
Like man, I really killed it this week. I'm gonna eat this cake.
Since the announcement, was there one moment, one phone call, one text message, one surprise person that came out and really said something to you that was like, wow, that was I really appreciated that. I really needed that. That was really cool of them to do this. Did anything like that happen?
There's been a lot of moments like
Really?
that, and I think we got one on tape. You were interviewing me that night at the MGM, and like Frankie walks by. Who else was it? Khabib walks by. And they're all like, "Right on, man. Go for it. Welcome to the UFC." I think this stuff like that's awesome. I don't let it get to my head because I think if you listen to all the super praise, I think you got to listen to all the super negativity, and who the hell wants to do that? But yeah, there's been a lot of people that, obviously everybody talks about it. I think that night, one that sticks out to me, Daniel Bryan texted me, and he was just like, that was fucking awesome. And I was like, well, I didn't do anything yet. It was just an announcement, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I think it took a lot of people off guard, but like, like that's a guy that, I think everybody thinks like we're super best friends, but like we're social when we see each other, but like, outside of that world, like we hadn't really talked in a while. So for him to reach out and text me, I thought was pretty cool.
The Reebok stuff has been a very hot topic in the world of MMA. And for me in particular, because when they came out with the mock-ups of the kits, yours was on the website, and it was listed as Phillip Brooks, which
Spelled wrong.
spelled wrong.
And they were all spelled wrong, weren't they? Isn't that
to
the
boot,
thing?
some of them. But your name, CM Punk,
Yeah.
is worth a lot, right? I mean, it's world renowned.
Yep.
Phillip Brooks, not. Why was it Phillip Brooks?
I don't know.
You had no idea.
No, I didn't ask either.
Do you know if that's what they're going to go by?
No, it's CM Punk.
It is CM Punk.
Yeah.
So that maybe was just much like the other mistakes, initial mistake.
Just a goof up. Like I said, though, I didn't ask. I don't worry about stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you feel about having to wear a quote-unquote uniform?
I could care less.
Who are you to say anything, right, at this point?
Yeah, I could probably. I don't have an agent. I don't have a manager. I don't. Like I worked out my UFC deal myself. I have a lawyer. That's about it. So I'm sure I could hustle and get a ton of sponsors and probably make a really decent amount of money. But, to me, my focus is training. And it's almost a relief that I don't have to worry about all that extra hustle stuff. And, I don't want to have to pay somebody 10, 15% of my money unless they're also getting punched in the face. Mm-hmm. So, for my first fight, I get $2,500 from Reebok. It's $2,500 that I didn't have before, so who am I to complain about it?
But for the record, when they do announce you will be CM Punk, you're not dropping that.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I'll be
that was
CM
good.
Punk. Yeah.
It's good to know.
People are upset about that.
People were worried.
Yeah.
Well, they're upset that you're going with that.
I guess.
Who's upset about that? The
I don't
purists?
know. The same people who call Quentin Jackson Rampage.
Right.
The same
Or
people who call
Kevin
Mirko
Ferguson.
Filipovic
Right, yes.
Pro Cop. Yeah, I don't know. Nobody even knows Korean Zombie's real name.
Do you dream about that night, that first night?
Yeah.
What happens in these dreams?
I'm a big believer in, PMA, positive mental attitude. So I'll take some time I try to do every day. Sometimes it falls to the wayside, but I just kind of like shut my eyes. And Duncan Keith on the Blackhawks does this too. We talk about it a lot.
Okay.
You just visualize, I'm sure he visualized himself winning the Stanley Cup. And you put that out there into the world, it happens. I visualize the walk. I visualize, Duke coming in after I stop somebody, being happy, picking me up. I visualize who I'm going to thank. I just visualize a giant smile on my face. I visualize the whole week. I visualize, the live workouts. I visualize an interview with you. I think you have to think about stuff like that and be prepared. And the more positive you are, I really, truly do believe you can make things happen that way, And I'm not talking about moving shit with your mind. No, don't get me wrong, I'm not some weird hippie or anything like that. But I do believe in, staying positive, and just visualizing what you want to have happen.
You're in the moment right now, so you may be a little biased, but this journey thus far, and it's not even close to done, and the real heavy-duty stuff is yet to come. Is this the most fun that you've ever had because you talked about journeys and not so much, the end destination. As far as a journey, and you've been through a lot of them throughout your professional career, is this the most fun that you've ever had?
It's hard to say, I definitely feel super close to a lot of the memories I had when I was first training for pro wrestling.
Really?
Walking into like a gym, not knowing what to expect, knowing who the trainers are, not knowing how they're going to react to you, meeting new people, developing new relationships, meeting new friends. To me, that's what this whole thing's about. It's not about the money. It's not even so much about the fight. It's about everything that happens in between, and I'm having a blast. I don't know if it's the funnest time, but it's certainly not the darkest time, and to me that means everything. It's all about the journey.
Just a couple weeks ago was the anniversary of that infamous promo in Las Vegas that was really, a moneymaker for you, and I guess the crux of that was, you sort of being upset about certain things and someone coming in and not worthy of that spot and taking a spot of someone who was working hard, et cetera, et cetera. Did you ever have to come to terms with the idea that in some ways you may be viewed as the guy that you were criticizing when you were on top of the world there?
No, because as some MMA purists constantly like to remind me on Twitter, UFC is real. It's
Right.
not fake.
Right.
As if I wasn't privy to that nugget of information before. And I think Joe Silva's the one who said it. Like, if anything, I might be creating an opportunity for somebody if they search outside of UFC. Plus, there's already at least 24 guys in the UFC that have called me out that said they want to fight me. So I don't think I'm taking a spot. It's a lot different. When it's the predetermined sport, or when it's actual fighting. Like I said, if I step in the cage and I'm a washout and I get starched in like 30 seconds, well, like, fucking good for all you guys. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not taking food off anybody's plate. There's not anybody. I'm not fighting Conor McGregor right away. I'm not fighting Robbie Lawler right away. So I don't know why anybody would be upset.
When you see that Lawler fight and the cuts and the face and all that, what's your reaction to that?
One of them probably should have tried wrestling more.
So it's never like, this is some, intense stuff. It's never something like that. It's never where you start to envision yourself in that scenario.
Come on, I was on the ground floor watching Oleg Taktarov, bleed on guys for 90 minutes.
Sure.
Don't act like I'm.
No, but you were not a UFC fighter.
No.
When that was happening, so it's different.
There's people that are going to say right now, at this moment, whatever the date is, end of June 2015, end of July.
July, yeah.
I'm not a UFC fighter because I haven't fought yet.
Well, you're on the roster.
But yeah, no, nothing shocks me. It's a fight. That shit's gonna happen. What I take away from that fight is the fact that one of those guys didn't go down sooner. That was a war.
Let me end on this. You're an inspiration to a lot of people for many different reasons, but I think now more so than ever, because here you are, just a guy going after your dream. You left something that was very secure. You were probably making a lot of good money, and you're putting yourself out there in a much riskier way, right? Have you heard from people who you have inspired, who have told you that, wow, you've been, even in normal walk of life, you've inspired me to do this, to chase this dream, that dream? Have you heard from people like that?
Oh yeah, all the time. Whether it's I meet somebody on the street, or that happened a lot at Fan Expo. I did a couple of signings and there was quite a few people. I wish I could remember their names, but you meet so many people. But anything from, hey, I'm doing this too now because you inspired me to do it, or I'm a single mom and you've inspired me to go to college while working and taking care of a kid. Like that was one that stuck out in my head from Fan Expo. Lots of stuff. People tell me all the time that I help them, either through a bad situation or to recognize that they needed to move on from a bad situation. And that's always super, super cool. I know I have the reputation of being a jerk or whatever because I tend to not let people get away with their bullshit, but I do appreciate my fans, especially when they're forthcoming with personal information like that. I think it's super sweet.
And do you have a schedule, like things you need to check off before that debut? Like, okay, we're here end of July, I need to be at this point by October, I need to do this? Or is it just showing up every day and doing what your coaches tell you?
Yeah, I don't think about like time as in terms of like what I'm doing or where I need to be. It's literally I show up. I don't ask them what we're doing. They just say, can you be here at 11? I say, yeah, and then another coach will say 12 tomorrow, and I'll say, yeah. And then that'll roll right into 1:30 pro practice, and then I can eat, I can go home, I can walk Larry, I can kiss April, I can take a nap, and then I go back at 7, and do it all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's the vibe like these days?
Super loose, relaxed. Are we talking about in the gym?
Yeah, because it's been a rough year for Rufus Sport.
Yeah, but I think that kind of makes everybody excited, because the reason I think everybody there is such an accomplished fighter is because they battle back from adversity. You know what I mean? A guy like Anthony Pettis, who was a champion and he got dethroned and then he got injured. So yeah, bad year, but I think he's looking forward to stepping up and getting back in there and showing everybody why he was a champion in the first place.
All right. So it's been good to catch up. I look forward to doing it again if the UFC comes back to Chicago. If they don't,
I think they will.
Then I probably won't.
Oh really?
At some point. What are you trying to say?
Now
people are going to look into
this.
this.
You know what I visualize?
Yes.
Talking about putting stuff out there. What I visualize is I fight somewhere. I don't know where.
Okay.
I know it's going to be on pay-per-view.
Yeah. Main event, you think?
No, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be in Vegas. That's just, the majority of the fights are in Vegas.
Makes sense.
Would love to fight on a card with like Ronda or McGregor or whatever, so we can try to break some records.
Yep.
And just everybody can make some money. I visualize my second fight being in Chicago.
Wow.
I think after the first fight, I think it might just come down to where I would like to fight. I think my hometown would be pretty special. And there's certain buildings around the country that I'm always fond of, so I might like to see if I can cherry pick certain dates or certain buildings.
What are the other ones?
I think the Garden's a special place, and I say that it's weird because it's remodeled. You know? So I think it lost a lot of its magic. But I mean the fact that MMA isn't legal in New York is pretty wacky. And that's obviously that goes beyond anybody's sphere of influence, so to speak. That's all politics. I would like to obviously see MMA in New York. I think that's going to generate a lot of money for a lot of different people in and around New York. Obviously, the fighters, UFC. But you want to talk about that for a minute? Why is that's so dumb?
I mean, as someone who lives in the state of New York,
right.
It's a little frustrating that I have to travel all over the world and I can't go, on the
you
subway.
You think of like all the things that have probably gone on in like Madison Square Garden, and
the crazy things. I mean, there's a lot of wacky things that come through that building.
I'm sure.
And the fact that you can wrestle there, they have wrestling events.
I'm sure there's been like weird stuff like bull riding and like.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you can
That's
do
weird.
everything else. You can do boxing, you can do kickboxing, you can do amateur MMA. They've held an amateur MMA event there.
It's pretty weird. Politics.
It tells you what's really going on.
I hate politics.
But your debut, at least this point, it won't happen because unless you really delay it, people were talking about it being in December at MSG. That would have been, I mean, wow.
That would have been super cool, That would
have been a nice little tie-in because you sold out MSG, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
Couple times.
Not to brag. Or
Sure.
Like that,
But so we're talking. See, I envision, if I may, I do this stuff as well. January 2nd, Aldo McGregor in Vegas. I have no insider information, but I kind of feel like it should be in Vegas. Aldo McGregor, you third fight, kind of in the middle there, so a little less pressure. That fight will generate a ton of attention, media, all that stuff.
What I feel, the only way I'm going to feel pressure is if my first fight's in my hometown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you don't want it to be here?
No.
Okay.
I don't want my first fight to be in Chicago. That's why it's the second fight,
Okay.
Chicago.
There'll still be a lot of pressure.
I don't think so. Why?
Well, because you're
Where's the
Chicago
pressure
guy.
come from?
Right. But if you get it out of the way, then it doesn't matter anymore, right?
I don't think so.
The debut is done.
Yeah.
Okay, so January 2nd in Vegas. Do you like that idea? Because I feel like that's the fight along with your debut.
Well, Christ, is that fight going to happen?
It will happen.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Are you
remember,
sure?
Remember this positive reinforcement? we were talking
I
about?
know, but
Positive
do you know
thinking?
something I don't?
No, I don't have any news.
Yeah,
I mean,
who
that's the
knows?
fight that they want. But I think that's the fight with your fight that can really possibly break a record. And then maybe next summer or something like that, right? Right
Yeah,
here.
hopefully.
United
Yeah.
Center.
I mean, everything's.
We're not going to Rosemont or...
No. We're going.
One of the Big Daddy.
We're going with the champs play, Blackhawks.
Right.
The UC. I think everything's contingent on that first fight. You know what I mean? Let's see how much. See what happens in that first fight, and then we can go from there.
Okay, last final question. I promise. I promise.
I don't care.
I've been taking a lot of your time. You got a lot of busy things.
I do have to eat.
Yes. Okay. So I just want to know, in your opinion, why do you think they signed you? Because this is somewhat unprecedented, right? They've never done anything like this.
Yeah, it really is, and that's probably the best question you've asked me.
Oh wow! Save the best for last.
I don't know. I think. Okay, obviously they think there's money in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. And that's. I mean, I don't think it gets more black and white than that. Mm-hmm. I think they think there's money in it. So why not?
Did you really have to convince them though, or did you feel because?
No, they had to convince me.
Convince you what?
that they were serious.
Okay.
And like I've known them for years, and they just knew that it was something that I if given the opportunity, would have loved to have done. When they got the idea that they were serious about talking to me about it, I don't know. That you gotta corner Dana and ask him, you know. But I don't know. They obviously think there's money in it. So
Well, when they offered you that deal, you thought they were joking.
I thought they were fucking kidding. I mean,
We didn't go into that so much in that interview.
Okay, so it's October. Can I tell you a story?
Please, I would love it.
Okay, so it's October. Where were you? I know, but you were like a week in like Mexico or something like that. I don't know. So she's on the road. She's gone for a week. What? Okay.
Beautiful place, I hear.
Yeah. She's somewhere. She's somewhere foreign. She's out of the country. So I'm like, I'm gonna drive to Louisville, visit my old friend, you know, Cliff, aka Domino.
Okay.
One of your favorite wrestlers. No? Deuce and Domino?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
see?
The fellow member of the tribe.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to go to my old stomping grounds and, you know, hang out with Cliff, you know, and it's just two guys hanging out, sitting on the couch, watching movies, going to the gym, eating sandwiches, watching a lot of postseason baseball. You know, at that time, my friend CJ Wilson was in the postseason pitching, so I was watching those games, and we're just chilling. I think we were actually. Funny anecdote, maybe this will become a Trivial Pursuit question somewhere down the line, you never know.
I love this.
We're watching Thelma and Louise,
Okay.
and my phone rings, and I look at it, and it's Dana White. And I'm like, it's a butt dial. Hello? Hey, man, how you doing? Oh, what's up? He's like fucking out of breath.
Okay.
You know, like, to me, this is he's like the kind of out of breath you get when like, your friend calls you to pick you up from jail. Okay. So I'm like, what's up, man? Are you okay? Oh, yeah. My kid just won this crazy overtime football game, you know, and I'm like, Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Is that why you're calling me? You're that,
share this news?
He's that stoked, and, you know, I don't know. It sounds like something he'd do. He loves his kids. He'd do anything for his kids.
Right.
So I'm thinking, fuck, maybe he's just, you know. No. Hey, listen, do you ever think about fighting? Yeah, I think about it all the time, you know, like, and he was like, what's the deal with Vince? And, you know, and like at the time, you know, I was going through some legal stuff. So I explained to him the extent of it, and he was like, you going back? And I was like, no, don't want to. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'm just trying to get all this legal stuff wrapped up, you know. All right, me and Lorenzo want to fly to Chicago and talk to you. Okay.
Wow.
I just thought he was fucking with me. You know what I mean? I thought he was kidding. So he was just like, we'll call you tomorrow from the office and we'll talk. And then we talked. They flew out. We went out to dinner. And they were basically just like, yeah, we want to offer you a contract to fight. And I was like, all right. Like, what? You know, like how soon would I have to fight? Train and you tell us when you're ready and you fight. And I was just like, well, fuck. I mean, how do you say no to that?
Did you ask them why? Why are you doing this? Why are you offering me
Yeah,
this?
I was curious, and
they
just said it's good business. And I was like, you know, they said it's contingent on you. Like if you don't,
Sure.
if the idea freaks you out, if the idea scares you, if you don't want to do it, if you're never serious about it, say no. Who cares? Fuck it. And then we're just gonna get on a plane and fly to Montreal and go talk to George, which is what they did, which is fucking hilarious to me, you know. But no, I was just like, well, my knee-jerk reaction was, yes, absolutely. Let me go talk to my wife, see what's up. You know, she's out of the country right now, so it's not a phone conversation. You know, wait till she gets home. I'll talk to her, and then I said, but you know, 100%, I'm in. But let me just talk things over. And I talked it over, and then everything snowballed from there. You know what I mean? Like I said, that was late October or mid-October, and then. They wanted to announce it like I think in November. There's some like scheduling conflict. Like I wanted to make sure Ape could be there to be a part of it, you know, because we spent so much time missing everything because we were on the road so much. So then I got pushed to, what did you say, December 5th? Yeah, and then they did it December 5th. And
you were supposed to be that big announcement at that press conference in November,
yeah,
right?
like they told me I wasn't, but I guess I was. I don't know. Pretty weird.
So she's to blame for the announcement not to happen.
Absolutely, it's absolutely her fault. No, and like that's the thing. Like it's kind of surreal that they wanted to make that big of a deal.
Honestly,
about it.
I don't think anyone knew. Even I thought that you reached out to them. you kind of shopped yourself, said, hey, I'm interested in doing this. If it's not with you guys, I'll go out and do something else. But they started this.
Well, here's the thing, because I was involved in some legal stuff.
Right.
You know, there's some contractual stuff going on and lawyers and, you know, I wasn't mentally in a position to move on to do anything else. Not acting, not anything. I wanted to wrap that up, get it done, and then my plan was to eventually just kind of, you know, start training, look for maybe a place around here or whatnot. So in a way, all they did was really just kind of expedite the process, you know, and the rest is history. It's weird how things work. Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it.
Maybe now people will kind of understand, you know, like
yeah, I had no idea
why this all happened, you know, so fast at least, and why I said yes, why I'm doing it at all.
And it, like I said, it's unprecedented. They've
Yeah.
never made an
And
offer
maybe,
like this before.
yeah, you know, and maybe, I don't know if there's anything to this. Maybe they heard something from somebody. Maybe somebody else was going to make me an offer, and they kind of wanted to, you know, make
But it
sure
never
it
got
was
to
with
that
them.
with anyone else.
No. I mean, dude, right when I left WWE, I got offers to do everything from porn to who knows
Really?
what. Yeah.
That's bizarre.
It's very bizarre.
Did you consider it?
No.
Oh,
Fuck
I mean,
no.
it's worth asking. You know, I'm sure a section of your fans would.
That's weird.
Yeah,
It's weird, man.
I went there and I couldn't come back. You know.
Section of my fans. No.
Wow. What other crazy
so
ones?
I think maybe because, like, you know, I had a couple people who reached out and said, oh, hey, you know, so and so from this organization said if you're
Right.
interested, they want to, you know, and there's no use in naming names, or, you know,
Sure.
you can probably guess who it was, but yeah, there was a lot of different. I'm not even going to say offers, just like feelers were sent out. So, you know, maybe that was Dana Lorenzo trying to. You know, make sure they secured me before anybody else did. But like, it really just kind of made sense, you know, because it was something I was going to do anyway, and I'm either going to fail or I'm going to succeed, and you might as well do it on the biggest stage and just say fuck it.
You could have negotiated a pretty. I mean, you could have played the field and.
Not my style. You know what I mean? Because that's not what it's about.
Right.
Yeah.
And if the biggest organization's coming after you, then what's the point, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just figured.
What's the point?
I already know them. I don't gotta, you know,
Right.
go through any kind of awkward phase with any reintroductions or meeting new people and wondering what the hell's going on. Like, I know them. They're straight with me. I'm straight with them. Pretty good relationship already. So yeah, why not?
Okay. Honestly, I'm done. But Dillashaw Barao.
Dillashaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't even think twice.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No.
Why?
Well, there's always the weight cut questions with Barao.
Sure.
You know, and unfortunately, like anybody from that camp, you always kind of gotta wonder what's going to happen the week of the fight. I just think he's. I hate saying "eye of the tiger" because it's like such a corny fight thing to say. But if you've talked to him, if you've seen him this week, like he's.
Dillashaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got
You've talked to him?
I mean, I saw him last week
Okay.
at.
Oh, that's
was it
right.
last week?
Yeah.
Was it last week?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I saw him 2 weeks ago, and even then, like I saw it in his eyes, like he didn't want to be at that fight. He wanted to be at his fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, you know, I didn't talk to Barao, so I don't know. He might have the more eye of the
Yeah.
tiger. I don't
You
know.
seem a little
No,
biased right now. No.
I just what's that?
You're a little biased because you spoke to one guy, not the other. You didn't
Well,
get the
yeah,
complete
we're
story.
not going to play that. You know, I'm friends with some of the alpha male guys. You know, they're nice. TJ's a sweetheart.
Right.
His wife's a sweetheart. But yeah, I just, you know, my brain and my heart say TJ.
And you'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Finally, you get to go.
Yeah, I get to go to one in Chicago for once.
First time, right? You didn't get to go to any of them.
No. I went to one. What did I? Was it Josh Thompson, Benson Henderson?
You were at that one. Oh, really?
Yeah, I was at that one, but then I had to literally run out of the United Center and jump on my bus and drive right to Pittsburgh. And that might have been my last day.
That
with
was the
company.
last day,
Yeah.
yes. The infamous right there. It all comes together.
Damn.
How about that?
How about that, Larry? Give me a pop.
Unbelievable.
No? You don't want to give me a pop? All right.
Well, it's great to see you in this happy state. very happy for you and your wife, of course, and just everything. It feels like a happier place here.
Oh, good. Yeah.
My fourth time here. I've had the pleasure of coming here, the honor really, and I really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy training. You've got people training. I mean, it's just an unbelievable scene. It's changed a lot.
Yeah, we got a shitload of fighters in the basement right now.
Yeah.
All sweating.
So I don't want to wish you luck the rest of the way, but I look forward to when we can do this on Fight Week and really get this thing going. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Look at that.
Hey, it is me, Arnold Schwarzenegger from the ICK show. Hopefully you enjoyed the video you just watched. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe. If you do not do any of these options, I will come from the future and I will terminate you. Well, that's all I got to say. Hasta la vista, baby. And always remember, I'll be back.